Let's be honest, getting an official ID photo has got to be one of the most annoying tasks out there. You're worried about the lighting, the background, if your face is right, and then there's the fear it'll get rejected, which is just a huge waste of time and money. Today, we're going to take a look at a tool called PhotoGov that claims to make that entire headache just disappear.
You know that feeling, right? You get the reminder that your passport is expiring, or you start planning that amazing trip that needs a visa, and bam, suddenly you remember you have to get that one tiny, perfect photo that has to follow about a million different confusing rules.
And the frustrations are so real. First, you have to find time to go to a studio. Then you have to try and make sense of these complex government regulations. And after all that, you're paying a pretty penny for a picture you probably won't even like. And oh my gosh, if you have ever tried to get a passport photo of a baby, you know the struggle is on a whole other level. But the absolute worst part, that little voice in the back of your head worrying that your application will get bounced back because of a tiny shadow or the wrong shade of white in the background. Well, this is where online tools are really changing the game. And one of the biggest names you'll hear is PhotoGov. It's basically designed to be the modern, streamlined answer to all those problems we just talked about.
So what's the big idea here? It's actually incredibly simple, and that's what makes it so powerful. You just take a regular photo of yourself with your phone, yep, just a selfie, and their platform turns it into a totally compliant, government-approved ID picture.
And here's where you can really see the magic happen. You start with just a casual selfie, maybe you're in your living room with a messy background. You upload it, their AI does its thing, and what you get back is a perfectly centered, professional-looking photo with that perfect, compliant white background. The change is pretty incredible, right?
Okay, so how does it actually work? Is it complicated? Not at all. They've boiled the whole thing down into just 4 easy steps. First, you just pick your country and whatever document you need the photo for. Next, you upload a selfie you just took. Then the system works its magic, and this is the wild part. In about 30 seconds, it gives you back your digital file and a printable version that's ready to go. The whole process is clearly built for speed and simplicity. All right, let's get into the most critical part of all of this. I mean, how can you be absolutely sure the photo will get accepted? This is where their whole compliance guarantee really matters. First, just look at the numbers. They've served over 1.8 million users. That's a huge amount of social proof right there. It tells you that a ton of people from all over the world have trusted this service and had it work for them.
And check this out. This shows you just how massive their service is. We're not just talking about a US passport here. They support over 900 different types of documents. That's everything from an Indian visa to a UK driving license and pretty much anything in between.
And that scope is global, covering over 150 countries. Just think about that. It means their system has to stay on top of the very specific and constantly changing rules for every single one of those places.
So how do they actually do it? Well, it's a few different layers working together. Their AI is built on international standards, like the ones from ICAO, plus all the specific national rules. But it's not just technology. They have a real in-house team of compliance experts, including former consul officers. You can even pay a little extra to have a real human expert double-check your photo just for that total peace of mind. And look, this isn't just a bunch of marketing talk. Here's a real review from a user, Basua Mark, who is really struggling to get their visa photo right. They used PhotoGov, and boom, the photo was finally accepted. It's those real-world success stories that show a service like this actually delivers. So, let's bring this all back home. What does this all mean for you? Why would you use a service like this instead of just heading to the local pharmacy or photo studio? When you put them side by side, the difference is pretty huge. Studios have limited hours. PhotoGov is open 24/7. In a store, getting it right depends on who's working that day. Here, compliance is guaranteed by the system. And of course, the convenience of doing it all from your couch is just a massive, massive win. Now, this is a really important detail that I think shows they're serious about getting it right. For countries like the US and the UK that have super strict rules against digitally changing the background, the service won't do it. Instead, it just gives you the perfect sizing and cropping tools so your photo meets the standards, which helps you avoid an instant rejection. It's smart. They've also obviously thought about the hardest parts of this whole process. The website gives you specific, really helpful tips for those super challenging photos, like getting one for a newborn. They walk you through how to get the lighting right, how to hold the baby. It makes a really tough job feel way more possible. Okay, we've gone through a lot here. So let's just boil it all down. What's the main takeaway from all of this?
It really comes down to 4 key things. 1, you save a ton of time. We're talking minutes, not hours. 2, you save money, because it's way cheaper than a studio. 3, you avoid all that stress, since the compliance is guaranteed. And 4, you get the absolute best convenience, creating an official photo right from your phone wherever you are.
You know, we live in an age where technology is simplifying almost every tedious task you can think of, and it looks like getting an official ID photo is no exception. When you see a service that's this easy and this reliable, it really makes you ask, why would you ever do it the old, inconvenient way again?